Hello. And today, well, we're gonna watch some scary videos. I got bored and I didn't want to do another Try Not to Laugh, and I couldn't think of anything else to do. We're doing Llama Arts. I'll leave a link to their thing. We're just gonna watch one of their compilations. I'm not gonna watch the full hour. Or is that? Yeah, that's an hour. No. These videos aren't gonna be an hour. It'll be a little bit more than 10 minutes. So, let's watch. Oh, wait, I gotta turn off my light. Gotta grab my blanket. You know what? I think we're doing all right. So, let's get scared together.
It was around 3 years ago. I was 17 years old and I worked at the local library in my city. The library was located in the middle of the city, but was totally abandoned in the evenings. I only worked in the evenings, when all the older staff had already gone home. My colleague and I were the only one left there that night. As it was the day before Christmas,
I didn't mean to pause.
and a blizzard was going on outside, not one single customer inhabited the building. My colleague Thomas was down at ground level, while I was sitting at my desk on the top level. Normally, I would take the time to study, but it was the holidays and I was completely bored to death. The library was recently renovated, so I could look outside through the big window.
Alright, before we go any farther, I just have to say, what's with the soul patch, dude? You do not look good. You do not look good. And second of all, you know what? You're rocking that green sweater. So that's all I've got to say. Get rid of the soul patch, and you'll be fine.
Windows that they had put up. I mostly looked at the blizzard going on, thinking about my bike ride home. It was a dark December evening, and the snow was piling up. I just really wanted to go home. It's really snowy out there, Tom. What do you say we close up early? No one's gonna show up anyway. Over.
What is crisp animation?
Your jokes are funny. Over. Just 10 minutes before we closed, I heard some people coming up the stairwells. It was some kind of family. One man and a woman with 2 girls. When
Okay, after this, no more interruptions for a while. But excuse me, you don't see someone walking into your store going in mid-century dresses and pants and decide to do anything, especially when it's snowing out there, dude. Get out of there. Oh my gosh.
When they came through the door, I immediately saw that they weren't ordinary. The man had a pale, almost white face and wore red lipstick. The woman was also completely pale. They all wore clothing like they used to be in the 17 or 1800s. I just had my history exam, so I recognized it immediately. While I walked towards them, I saw that they were looking around as if they were lost. "Can I help you folks?" I asked them. They looked at me with big eyes, if I was talking Chinese. I almost thought about bailing, but as we just had a meeting about customer satisfaction, I asked again, a bit louder. "Can I help you folks?"
Nah, you tell
They
me.
now all looked
Get
at
out.
me with a big smile and large eyes. I was totally creeped out and I didn't really know what to do anymore. "If I can help you, I'll be at my desk," I said, and I quickly walked away. When I was at my desk, I could still see the family just standing there, doing absolutely nothing. Tom, have you seen this family that just came in?" Over. "No, no one's come through the entrance. You good?" Over. Now I was even more creeped out. When I looked up, I saw the man walking towards me. From the inside, I could almost cry, but I did my best not to show it. The man stood in front of me with his pale face and called out something in a language I couldn't understand. It sounded like English, but it sort of wasn't. couldn't make out anything. I looked down at my computer to make it look like I was searching, hoping he would just take off. When I finally looked up, nobody was there. The whole floor was abandoned again. I did a quick sweep of the floor, but I found nobody. As if they just vanished. Just then, my colleague came up the stairs, and I told him what happened. He didn't believe me, and I thought I was trying to scare him. Luckily, there were security cameras in the library, so we could just watch what happened, right? After we closed the library, we went to the security office in the building and looked at the footage from earlier that evening. What I saw then was the creepiest thing ever. I was talking to nobody. The whole family wasn't on the screen. It was just me, talking to myself.
Maybe you're schizophrenic.
Need a professional.
Schizophrenic bastard. Scaring me, looking at demons. Don't judge me, but I'm only a little old-fashioned. I think demons should be left out of our libraries. At least I'm decently sure that was a library. I couldn't tell. I wasn't paying attention for, like, the first part of it when he said it. So, keep your eyes peeled for them demons, boys. Next animation. I haven't been scared yet.
Looking for a new roommate is always a daunting task. Even though you interview and take the time to get to know that person, you don't truly find out who they are until you start living with them. I had begun searching for a roommate after I decided to leave my current residency. I was contacted a couple of hours after placing an ad on the Facebook Marketplace. The message read,
"Hey Chris, I'll be moving out of my current apartment this August and I'm looking to room with someone new, as my roommates are moving to California this year. I'm 27 and am currently going to school. When I'm not at school, I enjoy hiking and watching movies. I also apprentice at a taxidermy shop on the days I don't have class. Hope that's not weird. It's always been a fun hobby of mine. Anyway, I'm looking forward to hearing back from you. Have a great day, Lunaire."
No, taxidermy is not a hobby, it's a way of life. Get it right. Taxidermy is pretty cool, but I don't want to roommate with anyone who's into taxidermy because there would just be stuffed animals everywhere. You know? But not the good kind of stuffed animals. I don't know.
My first and most obvious reaction after reading the message was to check her profile. She was of medium height, had long, messy blonde hair and green eyes. In her profile picture, I saw her standing with a man and a woman shoulder to shoulder. They each adorned goofy grins and held up peace signs. Under the photo, the caption read, "Love my roommates." I smiled to myself and decided to send her a message back. The sun beat down on us as we hoisted various objects to send her a message.
What's this chick doing? Why is she staring at him? Okay.
Back. The sun beat down on us as we hoisted various objects to the second floor of our new apartment. It took us a couple days to get everything out of the moving trucks and into our new place, but as soon as we did, a wave of relief washed over our sweat-drenched and sore bodies. After a couple more hours of rearranging, we each grabbed a beer from the fridge and sat on the porch. We reminisced about old 90s cartoons and what video games we obsessed over as kids, and as the sun started to set, I truly felt relaxed and confident that things were going to work out. A week later, I started a new job for a construction company that was owned by a good friend of mine. As I was getting ready, I heard the front door swing open. I walked into the living room to see Lunaire and her friend David sliding in a large box. "What you got there?" I asked. Through a strained grunt, she replied,
"I bought a freezer to store some of the animals I'm planning on using in my taxidermy work. I hope that's alright."
I was obviously hesitant at first, as there was no mention of this happening in the first place, but I eventually accepted and returned to my room to continue getting ready for work. I came home at around 9 p.m. after having a couple of beers with friends and noticed that the freezer was nestled snugly in the lower part of the pantry.
The only problem I'd have with letting my roommate have a freezer is I don't know. It's a little weird. But I mean, you gotta tell me first before you make these big purchases, man. I don't know.
The lower part of the pantry. A low hum could be heard reverberating off of the inner walls. I was curious to see what was inside, but didn't want to intrude on Lunaire's business, so I went into my room and changed into more comfortable clothing. After changing, I came back out into the kitchen and started making a sandwich. I opened the fridge and grabbed what I needed. As I turned around, I stubbed my toe on the edge of the island countertop and let out a long, exasperated grunt. Through my frustration, I slammed the fridge door shut and checked my toe to see if there was any bleeding.
Don't slam.
As I raised my head back up, I was greeted by a shadowy figure. Lunaire was standing in the doorway leading to her room. The darkness behind her almost seemed to envelop her.
It's alright!
Is everything okay?
She said in a deadpan tone. Shit, yeah, I'm sorry. I just slammed my toe into the corner of the countertop as I was making a sandwich. I hope I didn't wake you.
It's fine.
She said, in the same deflated tone as before. She then turned around and walked back into the darkness of her room.
Get away,
I could tell that she was pissed, so I quietly made my sandwich and retreated back to my room as well, only hearing a low hum from the freezer as I closed my door. I had the next day off, so I was able to sleep in a little longer than usual.
Toes, boys.
When I finally emerged from my room, I walked into the kitchen to make breakfast. As I opened the refrigerator, I noticed that the light wasn't turning on and there was a lack of cold air escaping from inside. I turned around and flipped the light switch to confirm my suspicion. Sure enough, the power was out.
Ha!
Damn it.
Poor!
I muttered under my breath.
Sorry.
I walked over to Lunaire's room and knocked on her door to tell her about the power outage if she didn't already know, but there was no answer. I then remembered that she had classes that day and probably wasn't home.
You got a big chest.
I walked back to the kitchen and past the pantry. As I did, I slipped on the floor but was able to catch myself on the countertop. What the? I angrily exclaimed as I looked down at the floor trying to figure out what I had slipped on. It was blood. It had started to leak from the corner of the freezer and pool onto the floor. I quickly tried to open the freezer to find out the cause of the viscous liquid, but then I noticed that it had a padlock attached to it. I don't remember seeing that before. I ran out to my car and grabbed...
No! If I figure out the freezer you brought in without telling me is locked, I'm busting in your door. Oh, wait. I'm going to the school or wherever you are. I'm grabbing you. I'm telling you to unlock it now. And if she done it, I ain't no simp. Get your ass out. The door is over there. Get out. No. That's why I don't watch horror movies. They upset me.
My toolbox on the back seat. I approached the freezer and set my tools down on the nearby countertop. I then pulled out a small pair of bolt cutters and snapped through the metal of the padlock.
Yes,
it fell to the ground with a large thud. I creaked open the top of the freezer and was greeted with a putrid stench that permeated my nostrils. I quickly pinched my nose and walked away gagging in response. I guess I should have realized that was gonna happen, I muttered to myself in between gags. After gaining my composure, I grabbed some gloves from under the sink and started taking inventory. I could see a couple of dead birds in plastic bags wedged into the corners of the freezer. I took each bag out and set them in the trash can nearby.
Why would you do that?
That's when I noticed that the blood was coming from the corner of the larger black bag. I don't know why, but I decided to open the top of the bag and peer inside. I was greeted by large, milky white eyes, a swollen black tongue surrounded by cracked and bloated lips, and the matted hair of a human head. I swiftly dropped the bag and fell backwards onto the floor. My breathing had ceased to exist, and I grabbed the trash can next to me and expelled my disgust into it. I then ran out the door, got into my car, and called the police. As I sat in the interrogation room with a blanket over my shoulders, I couldn't help but think about the face I'd seen. It looked so familiar. That's when it finally hit me.
That's the face.
I pulled out my phone and looked at Lunaire's profile picture. It was her old roommate, the one she said was moving to California. When the detective entered the room, she started the questioning process, asking me if I started noticing any weird behavioral occurrences around the apartment. Yeah, I stubbed my toe the other day.
That one
She
creeped me
creepily
out.
stood in the doorway.
That
It
creeped
seemed
me
like
out a
she was
lot.
pissed, but for some reason I had a strange feeling like she was concerned about something. That's when I connected the dots. She didn't come out into the kitchen because she heard me stub my toe. She came out into the kitchen because she thought I slammed the freezer instead of the fridge. A cold sweat started to form on my forehead as my surroundings became blurred. I could hear a low whine slowly starting to cover up the words of concern from the detective. As my vision started to clear, I could see another officer enter the room and whisper something into her ear as he handed her a piece of paper. "Do you have somewhere you could stay at?" she asked. I mean, I was planning on staying with my parents. They live about 30 minutes outside of town. Okay, she paused. "Listen, I don't want to worry you, but we found this picture inside of your apartment." She slid the piece of paper across the table, and I immediately felt like someone kicked me in the chest. The head of Lunaire's other roommate sat on the chair. In the background, scrawled on the wall in blood, read,
No! She gonna kill him! She gonna kill him! And she got him to lift a heavy freezer up the stairs! That's extortion! Well, I guess it doesn't matter, he's dead. This is extortion! God! Imagine, being someone's roommate forever, and then, one day, you're just hanging around, out, and one of your roommates goes missing. Sucks to suck, I guess. And then your friend, other roommate, moves, goes somewhere else. You're like, okay. They're like, can you help me with one thing? I want you to take this heavy-ass freezer up these stairs, and then, out of nowhere, at whatever time, she slices you up! No. This is why I will never have any roommates unless I know them personally. Not putting an ad on Facebook. Because then this shit happens. When you move in with someone who you don't know, this happens. Oh my God. Blood. Alright. Let's just... Oh, God. I guess let's start another one. Nah, this is gonna be the last one. I'm gonna just... Oh, this one's done. Yeah. Oh, my. Happy video. It's not okay. Be good people. Don't go killing your roommates. Bye.